Hello, girls. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're staying safe at home. To continue with biology, today I'm going to start with chapter 7, that is chemical coordination in plants. Now, what are plant hormones? Okay, now you know in animals, movement of body parts are very common, but you do not see such vast movements in plants. Okay, so in plants, what type of movements do you see? You see either they bend towards light, that is bending, okay, twisting, okay, sometimes these tiny case of tendrils, they twist around support, okay, and the roots and the stems get elongated. Now these movements are caused due to changes in the external as well as the internal factors of a plant. So these changes, which is either external or internal, are called stimuli, and the resulting movement caused by the stimuli are called responses. So you have the stimuli, which is the internal or external cause, which results in the responses. So how do they respond in the responses of the stimuli? Now, the difference in movement of plant and animals is due to different modes of nutrition. Plants, they make their own food, while animals depend on plants for their food directly or indirectly. So as a result, what happens is, in plants, they need not move from place to place in search of food, and animals, they have to move from place to place in search of food and of course shelter too. So you know that plants do not need a very fast response to very small changes in their environment. So they respond, to light, to gravity, and to seasonal changes. So they also need to coordinate growth of the cells in various parts of the plant body. The plants do not appear to have a nervous system or sense organ. Plants do not have any nervous system, nor do they have any sense organ. So the senses and the coordination is the result of chemical control. So it is chemically controlled. Okay. Plants respond to stimuli by producing chemical compounds called hormones. So how do they respond to stimuli? By producing hormones, and these hormones, they act as messengers. Okay, they carry messages. So these compounds are similar to the hormones found in animals. In animals also hormones are present. So these hormones, they are produced in one area of the plant, and then it is transported from one area, supposing it is produced, say, in the leaf. So from the leaf it is carried to different parts of the plant body wherever it is required. So the hormones are produced in one point and they will move around, and they will show their effect at a location which is very far away. Very, supposing they are produced in the leaves, they will go right down, and maybe their effects are shown in the roots. So they are produced in the, if they are produced in the roots, again from the roots they are carried to various another point, maybe at a very far location, maybe at the tip of the stem. Okay, so in some cases, growth is stimulated, while in others it is inhibited. Inhibited means it does not allow the growth. Sometimes one side of the plant grows more than the other, which results in the bending of the shoot or the root, okay, in response to a particular stimulus. So the main areas of growth, that is cell division, in which that takes place are the meristem, that is the meristematic tissue. If you remember, meristematic tissues, that is the tips of plants, that is the tips, the growing tips, the tips of the stem and the tips of the roots, where there is continuous growth. So you have meristematic tissues here, and here continuous cell division takes place. Okay, so these meristems are sensitive to hormones. Okay, the hormones help to stretch the cellulose walls of the meristematic cells to facilitate cell division. So what do the hormones do? The hormones, they help in cell division. Okay, now plants, they respond to different types of stimuli. They are sensitive to light, they will bend towards light, especially the stem. Okay, and they respond to the direction. If the light is coming from this side, you know, the plants, if it is growing here, it will start moving towards the sunlight, so it will bend towards the sunlight. Okay, and the intensity of light and even the length of daily exposure. They are also sensitive to water, temperature, gravity. Okay, different parts of the same plant may react differently to the same stimulus. For example, shoots grow towards light, but roots, they grow away from light because they are inside the soil. So stems grow towards light, but roots grow away from light. Another term was coined, that is phytohormone. Now, phytohormone term was given by William Bayliss and Ernest Starling in 1902. Okay, so this term was given to distinguish plant hormones from animal hormones. So when we are talking about phytohormones, what are we talking about? We are talking about plant hormones. Okay, now moving on to the first plant hormone, that is auxins. Okay, so this term auxin was first given by F.W. Went in 1928. Okay, so he got this word from a Greek word auxion, which means to grow. So this is basically a growth hormone. Okay, auxins are very powerful growth stimulants, and even a very little amount of auxin is very, very effective for lots of growth to take place in different parts of the plants. Now, auxins you'll find in higher plants as well as in lower plants like algae, fungi. Okay, now in higher plants, they are present more in the actively growing regions. You know, the meristematic tissues, where are they found? They are found in the growing regions like the tip of the stem, tip of the root, okay, and even in the lateral meristem, that is the cambium. Okay, so it is where you find auxins. Okay, now remember, auxin was the first growth hormone that was discovered in plants. So in your one word answer, if you are to write down the first growth hormone discovered in plants, what will your answer be? Your answer will be auxins. Okay, now indole 3 acetic acid, also abbreviated as IAA. Remember, abbreviations are important. So what is the full form of IAA? Indole 3 acetic acid. So what is IAA? It is the main natural auxin that is found in plants. So the natural auxin found in plants is IAA, or indole 3 acetic acid. Now moving on to the functions of auxins. Okay, the first function is it promotes growth. You know that auxins are growth stimulants. Okay, so it promotes growth in different parts of the plant. Okay, especially the stem, roots, and fruits. The fruits also, you know, when it comes out, it is very tiny and slowly it grows in size. So how is the growth, how does the growth take place? By cell elongation. That is, the cells that is present in the stem, roots, and fruits, they get elongated. Okay, so what happens during this process is the cell wall increases. The cell wall is increased. Okay, the hormone auxin induces the cell wall to become very loose and relaxed. So what happens? The cell wall gets stretched like rubber when you pull it. So the rate of cell elongation is proportional to auxin concentration. That is, if you have more auxin, more cell elongation will take place. If you have less auxin, less cell elongation will take place. So stem cell elongation requires more auxin if you compare it with root elongation, root cell elongation. So if you compare, the stem cell elongation will require more auxin, but root cell elongation will require less auxin. Okay. Now, next function is auxin delays leaf senescence. Now, what do you mean by senescence? It means aging or falling of leaves. That is, the leaf, it becomes older and older, and ultimately it will lose its chlorophyll, it will wrinkle up, it will then fall off, isn't it? So auxins delay leaf senescence. Number 3 is auxins promotes the growth of apical buds. Now, apical buds means at the apex, okay, at the tip, the terminal bud. And also it inhibits the growth of lateral buds. It inhibits the growth of lateral buds. Okay, that means if this is a plant, okay, auxins allow the terminal bud to grow. Okay, but the axillary bud here at the side, it does not allow this to grow. That means there is more increase in length. So the branches do not grow out. Okay, now in most of the vascular plants, apical buds are dominant over lateral buds. Always, that means there is more growth in length than in the branches. Okay. Now, if we want the lateral buds to grow, we will have to remove the terminal bud or the apical bud. So then only there will be growth of branches. Okay. So this phenomenon of suppression of growth of lateral buds by apical buds is known as apical dominance. That means the apical bud keeps on growing, but the lateral buds do not grow. The next function, the fourth function, is auxins induces rooting in the cutting of some plants like rose, bougainvillea. You know, some plants, if you want to plant, you can cut off a stem and then you can put it in, you cut the stem part and then you put it in the soil. Okay, then what will happen? After some days, roots will start growing out from the part which has been put inside the soil. So this root is allowed to grow due to the hormone auxin. Okay, now next, number 5, auxins can induce fruit formation without fertilization. So this development of fruits without fertilization is known as parthenocarpy. What happens in parthenocarpy? Fruits are produced without fertilization, no fertilization. That is, no fertilization takes place. That means the pollen does not have to go to the ovary, and then the male gamete and the female gamete will not come together. So without that only the fruit is being formed. So that is known as parthenocarpy. So auxins can induce fruit formation without fertilization in fruits like apples, tomatoes, bananas. Okay, these fruits are known as parthenocarpic fruits. So this is all for today, children. So please go through the chapter, okay, until auxins. Please read, and wherever you need to underline, you think it is important, please ask. If you have any questions, you can ask in the WhatsApp group. Have a nice day, children. God bless you and stay safe.